Hello, my name is Sean and I'm an elder at Andover Baptist Church. Thank you for joining me. So far in this week of devotions, which I've titled I Never Knew That, we've been looking at things we so often believe to be true but that often are not. And we've said that this usually happens because we spend so much of our lives being told something is a fact, or have just heard it reported so many times that we come to believe it's true ourselves, when the reality is that it isn't. Things like you lose most of your body heat through your head. How many hats have been sold on that fact? How many times have you heard it said? But it isn't true. According to the British Medical Journal, we only lose something like 7 to 10% of our body heat through our heads, which is pretty much the same as you'd lose from any other exposed part of your body on a cold day. Or that different parts of your tongue are dedicated to different tastes, sweet on the sides, sour on the front, salty in the middle, that sort of thing. But that isn't true either. Every part of your tongue can detect every type of taste. There are things in the Bible too that we wrongly come to believe as facts. For example, as those of you who have viewed my Chainsaw public information films which I created last year will have seen, did you know that Jesus fed far more than 5,000 people with 5 loaves and 2 fish? You all know the story in Matthew 14, verses 14 to 21. It says this: When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and he healed their sick. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so that they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food." But Jesus replied, "They don't need to go away. You give them something to eat." "We have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they answered. "Bring them to me," he said, and he directed the people to sit down on the grass, and taking 5 loaves and 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves, and when he had given them to the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that had been left over. The number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children. And there's the crux of it. You see, in that last verse it says there were 5,000 men, but also women and children. It was their families, and so it's likely there were at least 15,000 and possibly many more. This is the only miracle that is described in all 4 Gospels. Such is its importance. And of course, what really matters here is not the number of people that Jesus was able to feed, though 15,000 people is pretty impressive. What matters is the demonstration of his compassion for people and his willingness to do whatever it takes to help people. Verse 14 speaks of his compassion to immediately heal the sick in the crowd. And just imagine how many sick people they were. They would have travelled from miles around once they knew that Jesus was able to do this. He does that first, and then he feeds them too. There's no end to his love and to what he'll do for us. And eventually, whilst he was on earth, that culminated in him being prepared to suffer terribly and to die for us on the cross. And even now, he continues to forgive us and allow us to know him and to be loved by him. For the number 5,000, you could read 5 million, 5 billion, it doesn't matter really. His generosity to us is endless, no matter what the number. The numbers don't matter, and his clear demonstration of compassion for us is what really does matter. It shows his love, and it shows that it is a wonderful truth that he continues to feed us even now in so many different ways. He knows exactly what we need better than we do ourselves. I've chosen a song today called Good, Good Father. It just says, you know what we need before we say a word. I hope you like it. Thank you for listening today, and I hope you can join me again tomorrow. Goodbye.